Recently, something very strange started happening for the PTE Speaking Retell Lecture question, which I also shared information in the PTE exam bulletin video for November 2025. This video is only applicable for PTE academic students, not for core students, because PTE Retell Lecture does not exist in core. But we are going deep in this video, so do not panic in the exam if you encounter such strange scenarios which we are going to explore in this video related to PTE Retell Lecture. If you encounter similar scenarios, you will know how to convert those strange behaviors into the advantage that you are looking for to get to the top scores in the PTE Speaking module. So like and subscribe and watch it right till the end. Hey everyone, this is Anurag here from Edutrainex PTE. I hope you all are doing great. First of all, don't panic. When there is a strange behavior in the exam or something extraordinary happening in the exam, we provide you the solution. So step number one, do not panic at this stage. So what happens is many students panic in the exam or they get nervous because they do not expect this kind of behavior for Retell lecture questions, and then easily they miss out on the speaking points and thereby they miss the target scores that they are looking for. So if you want to join our live classes, we do offer live classes and we do talk about all these details, whatever is happening in the exam. So do WhatsApp us or Telegram us if you want to join unlimited class program with us, where we also give you all the resources, app access and everything. Whereas if you have already invested money in some other institute and just want some resources like the ebooks, so we do offer two types of memberships on our YouTube channel. YouTube Priority will give access to the most repeated predictions file or the ebook on the repeated questions, and the VIP will not only give you the repeated questions ebook but also the vocabulary, the spellings, the templates, the grammar ebook, and also exclusive access and early access to our videos. So hit subscribe and sit tight to explore what's happening in the Retell lecture questions. Alright, so before we discuss the strange behavior or whatever is happening in the exam, I already gave you that information in the PTE exam update bulletin. The normal behavior of Retell lecture is what you see on the screen is average length of the audio is around 1 minute to 1.5 minute audios. Okay, and the audio can also be in the form of an audio with an image, just an audio, or an audio video, basically a video. There is no transcript for the audio that you are listening because it's a lecture. And after the audio finishes, you get 10 seconds to prepare and then you have to speak for around 40 seconds. Now, this question is also important for your speaking as well as for your listening scores, as you all know. The scoring distribution you already know, 6 points for content, 5 points for fluency and pronunciation. Now, you guys are already clear about the pronunciation and fluency part. Being fluent means you have to speak with confidence and you have to speak at a normal speed. You don't have to fumble, you don't have to say all those related to fluency. So just sound smooth. And pronunciation is related to clarity. We do have dedicated videos where we have talked only about fluency, only about pronunciation. So do explore the PTE Speaking playlist on our channel. And what I talked about, the membership plans and the live classes, all the links are given in the description. So just look at that and you will find out how to reach us. So before we go into detail, we need to talk about the scoring parameters. See, the time is given to you of around 40 seconds you have to speak, but some people are not able to speak that much. So let's explore how much if you speak and how much points you can get. If you are speaking less than 20 seconds, then definitely this will go for a human review as well, because you are not covering enough content, and what you are speaking, they want to have a deeper look at how you are speaking. Most of the time, if you have not spoken enough or you have just used some ready-made template, you will not get any score for that particular question. But if you manage to speak, and the content score will also be really low if you speak less than 20 seconds, less than 2 points, whereas in total it's expected to you to get 6 points. If you manage to speak between 20 to 30 seconds, then definitely you can get 3 to 4 points out of the 6, but always try to speak in the range of 30 to 35 seconds so that we can maximize our content coverage, and then you can guarantee you will get 6 points for the content. And it has been happening for some time, but nowadays people are not very familiar and some people panic. That's why I wanted to bring it to your focus. What is happening is the inconsistent duration of the audio. Officially, if you go on Pearson website, you see they will say on an average it will be around 1 minute 30 seconds audio. But in reality, some people are only getting 30 seconds audio, and this is for Retell lecture only. Some people are getting audios between 40 to 50 seconds. So first of all, you do not know how much notes you have to take down, and suddenly the audio stops. And you have only written 2 or 3 phrases by then, and the audio finishes, and then straight away you panic, and then you don't have, of course, you don't have enough content to talk about, and you just start blabbering the notes and repeating whatever, fumbles, everything starts happening. So that particular question turns into a disaster, whereas it can be turned into your strength. So first thing is precaution. Maintain due diligence on what the timer is showing to you. How you can determine whether you are going to get a longer audio or a shorter audio is from this, whether it's circular or whether it's a rectangular or progress bar like this. Whatever time it says beginning in, and remember how much time you get to speak or prepare. 40 seconds to speak and 10 seconds to prepare. So that means 10 seconds for preparation you have to subtract from this beginning. So that means 41 second audio is what you are going to hear for these kind of questions. If it is longer, 60, 70, that means you are going to hear a longer audio. So this is your clue how you can determine whether it's going to be a shorter audio or a longer audio or a decent size of audio. Step number 2 is that how you are making notes. Now this is a speaking question, so we would definitely try to note down phrases. Okay, I have been recommending you to take down keywords as well, but for people who are able to make a phrase out of keywords, they can definitely note down keywords as well. But for people who are struggling to make a sentence or make a phrase out of the keywords, then definitely go for phrase noting. Okay, so you try to note down how many phrases. You have to note down minimum 5 to 6 phrases to complete a 40-second response. Try to at least get to a 40-second response so that you land up between 30 to 35 seconds. So minimum 5 to 6 phrases you need, and you all know that there is no points for grammar. So you use the template, and I'll show you particular different types of templates and in what scenarios how you can tweak the template to again speak for longer duration. We'll hold on to that. And in the end, what you have to do is just how much ever phrase you have noted down, as I said, 5 to 6, you have to try to note it down so that you have comfortable amount of content with you and you can speak confidently. That will give you more motivation or momentum when you are speaking. Yes, I have noted down enough content, I can speak confidently. Okay, that's psychology that we are talking about. If you have less content, then you will get nervous straight away. So note down, first of all, improve your note writing, note taking, your listening skills, all are important. Now let's look at the templates. Definitely templates are working, but what we need to do is try to maintain a ratio of 50-50. I've talked about this before as well. The template minimum ratio that we have to try to maintain is 50-50%. If you are speaking the phrase on this side, if you are speaking it longer, then wonderful. But at least the same amount of words, at least you have to speak the same amount of phrases, whatever you are using in the template. So this one is more of a structural based template. This is not a wordy template. You can see the speaker was describing. Firstly, he talked about, then he or she explained, and how. Later, she also described. Moreover, he discussed. Overall, she implied that. So the structure itself is 3 words, 4 words, 3 words, 4 words in every sentence, not bulky one. And then the exam expects from you that you are speaking a longer phrase so that you get more points for extended speaking, so that you are able to speak fluently and for a longer duration of time. So templates are there to boost you, to give you a structure so that you can speak confidently. But yes, you also need to note down notes. One thing you have to keep it in mind, that you try not to repeat the same phrase again and again, even though if you have noted down less. I'll show you how you can tweak this template if you have noted down less number of phrases. But even in this scenario, what you have to do is try not to repeat it, try to paraphrase. Okay, if you repeat the same exact phrase again and again, it will sound monotonous and it will be detected by the AI that you are just trying to prolong the time. So let's try to avoid those techniques. Let's listen to the audio ones. And then I'll show you the transcript of the audio as well. And then I'll also show you how we can formulate a proper response with proper amounts of notes, without proper amount of notes.
Chemical engineers from University of Sydney have developed new technology that helps convert harmful carbon dioxide emissions into useful industrial products like fuel and plastics. The researchers show that by treating harmful gases at very high temperatures, they can create particles which act as the reactors for turning carbon dioxide into hydrogen. The researchers say this method is cheaper and more scalable. Past attempts have used expensive materials, but this is the first instance where a very cheap and abundant material has been successfully applied to this problem of waste conversion. The idea is that we can take a point source of carbon dioxide, such as a coal-fired power plant, where you liberate it in huge amounts, and we can fit this technology at the back end of these plants and convert it into something that is hugely valuable.
The audio is finished. It was less than 50 seconds. Okay. So over here in this slide, you must see around 60 seconds, beginning in 60 seconds, because that's 10 seconds when you remove from it. That's the time of the audio. So what we heard in the audio, let's see how many notes you were able to note down. Before I show you how to improvise the template and use it to your advantage, let's see a complete answer by seeing if you are able to note down proper responses. So now if you see over here, we have noted down some phrases from the audio, and the transcript, it's over here. So chemical engineers from University of Sydney and blah blah blah, carbon dioxide, useful products like fuel and plastics. Researchers have been treating harmful gases, higher temperature method is cheaper and scalable, past attempts expensive, have been successfully in waste conversion, and then power plant, liberate huge amounts of these gases, fit the technology, convert it into something valuable. So that was the basic idea of the lecture. Now going back to the slide, let's say we noted down certain words or phrases, chemical engineers from University of Sydney, and then we noted down convert harmful carbon dioxide emissions, some keywords, fuels and plastic, treating harmful gases at very high temperature, method is cheaper and more scalable, cheap and abundant material, fit this technology at the back end of the plants, very valuable. So some keywords, some phrases, whatever we could note it down. In the exam, you will be noting something similar, sometimes bunch of keywords, sometimes phrases. Even if when you note down bunch of keywords, try to make it in a phrase. So what did we do? We just fit it as it is. The speaker was describing about chemical engineers from the University of Sydney. Firstly, she talked about converting harmful carbon dioxide emission. One thing to note, grammar is not marked here. So even if you do not use it in the correct grammar form, converting harmful carbon dioxide emissions, that's no problem. Okay, continue. Then she explained fuel and plastic. So I used keywords here, and treating harmful gases at very high temperature. Later, she also described this method is cheaper and more scalable. Furthermore, she discussed cheap and abundant material. So in one case, I could only replicate the keywords that I used. Overall, she implied that we fit this technology at the back end of these plants, and they are very valuable, or you can just say and very valuable. So just connect it. Don't just say very valuable, just like keywords. You have to connect it. We have tried this kind of responses. Our students have been trying this kind of similar responses. No problems at all. Many are getting 90 scores in the speaking module, and many are getting 7 band as well, depending on their requirements. Now, let's see if you are in a tough position, you are not able to note down that many, then how you can tweak the template and how you can still get a full score. Okay, it's not a rocket science. I'll make it simple for you. So the technique is improvise and win always. See, I just expanded some words in the first sentence. The speaker was, I'm not going to do that for every sentence. Speaker was describing crucial information about, so added 3 words here. Then you see she also described a lot of details about, just adding more details. Okay, then discussed important information related to. So 3 sentences I tweaked because I do not have that much content. And what else can I do? But first of all, if you are only able to note down 2 or 3 phrases and then you try to speak for 30-35 seconds and your response is going to be only 20 seconds, you remember, you will end up like the Garibo ka Shah Rukh Khan. Okay, your response will be like that and your marks will also be like that. So do not land up in that stage. Let's come out of that stage and be actual Shah Rukh Khan rather than the Garibo ka Shah Rukh Khan. Okay. So let's come back to the question. What we were doing, the speaker was describing crucial information about, this is a phrase here, what you have noted down. Firstly, he or she talked about this. Secondly, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the last phrase, what you can do is you can repeat the same phrase what you have noted down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever phrases or keywords you were noting, 1, you can replicate here. If you have lesser, like only 4 phrases you were able to note down, so you can replicate key phrase 4 and 5. Try to do it in a different words. So for example, in this sentence, if you are saying, firstly, she talked about converting harmful carbon dioxide emissions. Then you can say, furthermore, she also discussed about how carbon dioxide is converted from harmful to useful. Something like that. Just putting the words here and there. Carbon dioxide converted from harmful to useful things. So that's how we improvise. Now let's look at the answers. First, let's see how many phrases we were able to note down. Chemical engineers from University of Sydney convert harmful carbon dioxide emissions, fuels and plastics, treating harmful gases at very high temperature. Method is cheaper and more scalable and valuable. So if you compare it with the previous response that we had, so these were around 4-5 lines of notes, but over here it's only 3 lines, hardly 3 lines of notes. And let's see how we can build our response using this. The speaker was describing about chemical engineers from University of Sydney. Firstly, she talked about convert harmful carbon dioxide emissions. Then she explained fuel and plastics and treating harmful gases at very high temperature. Later, she also described this method is cheaper and more scalable. That's it. Our notes is finished now. Now what I'm going to do is maybe one word is extra, one keyword I've noted. I've just understood that we are talking about a process, right? If you have already improved your listening skills, you will understand that this audio, whatever lecture they are talking about, what is it about? It is talking about some process that we understand, converting carbon dioxide emissions into something useful. So that is the process. So then I say this process will be very valuable, and if you understand the consequences of pollution, global warming, you can use. Okay, try not to use too many words outside of the lecture, but definitely harmful words like harmful, useful, valuable, okay, contributing to environment, all those things can be implied from here. So this process is very valuable. I expanded one word to a phrase, and then what did I do? Because I don't have any more phrases, I'm going to combine this and just say it as a conclusion. So I'm not going to repeat exactly the same thing. So I said, she implied that chemical engineers, which I picked from here, can help to convert harmful gases into useful products or useful things. Now, fuels and plastics, if you have noted it down, they are actually products, right? Products or things that are converted from the harmful carbon dioxide. So that's what I just implied. So I used some meaning out of it. So if you have noted down very less, this is how you can expand the phrases or just paraphrase it or just combine some elements of this and that to say something. Try to avoid repeating exactly the same thing. So if you say the speaker was describing about chemical engineers from University of Sydney, and then you will say overall she implied that chemical engineers from University of Sydney. Try not to do that. Okay, even if you want to do that, try to paraphrase it. Let me show you how you have to do that. The speaker was describing about chemical engineers from University of Sydney, and then you can say in the conclusion that overall she implied that the University of Sydney has chemical engineers who are working on a process. So what did I do? Made this first, University of Sydney has chemical engineers who are working on a process. Okay, at least something relevant and something more than repeating the same thing. So you can just play around with the phrases here and there, and as I said, don't worry about the grammar. Even I can combine something. University of Sydney is working on treating harmful gases or converting harmful gases, or University of Sydney is trying to make this method cheaper. So that can also be a conclusion, very valid conclusion, right? So because that is what we can infer, we can understand from the lecture. So the idea is, even though if you are not able to take down that many notes, if you understand a little bit of the lecture, then you can still convert this dilemma or this problem into an advantage situation for your own. And then definitely I have encountered one student personally who faced this kind of scenario, and this is exactly what he did. Sometimes it's easy to say it in the video. In the exam it gets difficult, it gets more challenging for people. But what he managed to do is, with practice, we did a lot of practice together in our live classes, and he was able to replicate the same thing that I'm teaching to you in the class, and he was successful eventually in his speaking module. So in the end, this technique can also help you to get a perfect 90 score in the PTE speaking module, that is a superior score. And if you are looking for live classes directly with us, do WhatsApp us or Telegram us. And if you are looking for just some ebooks, we do offer them as YouTube memberships, priority and VIP. Do explore, all the links are there in the description. And if you have not watched the summarized group discussion made easy using simple techniques what we have discussed in this video, go and watch it. It's a must watch. Keep watching Edutrainex, and I'll soon be back with another super informative video on PT topics very soon. See you.